So we're talking about the Texas Revolution, okay? What historians call the Texas Revolution, what people call the Texas Revolution, what the Teeks call the Texas Revolution. So that's the term that we're going to use, right? Now, revolution sounds like a really big thing. We might think of the American Revolution, where we had thousands of soldiers, lasted 7 years. It was a long fight, a lot of battles. That wasn't this. Okay? We're really talking about a really short time period. Okay? We're talking about October 1835 to April 1836. Only 6 months. That's all it is. November, December, January, February, March, April. 6 months. Not 7 years, just 6 months, okay? And most of the fighting was pretty small, right? Now, I'm not trying to say it wasn't important. I just want us to keep the perspective in mind, just so we know just the size, okay? That's all. So Texas Revolution, October 1835 to April 1836. So how did the fighting start? Well, it started in the town of Gonzales, and the town of Gonzales had a cannon that was loaned to them by the Mexican army. And it doesn't matter why, for our purposes, for the test of why they had a cannon, but they had a cannon. You know, it wasn't a very big cannon, but it was a cannon loaned to them by the Mexican army, and the Mexican army wanted it back. And the Texans decided they didn't want to give it back. So the Mexican army, they sent some soldiers to go get it. And the Texans, they put up a flag. Maybe you've seen it. It says, "Come and take it." It's the flag, right? Just a picture of a cannon. Come and take it. So there was a fight, and the Texans won, all right? And that was the first fight, the first battle in the Texas Revolution was the Battle of Gonzales, okay? The "come and take it" flag, all right? We can write Battle of Gonzales, come and take it, that flag. You know, perhaps you've seen it somewhere. Okay, that's where it started. Okay, here, Battle of Gonzales, October 1835. After that, in between November and February, there were a number of small battles, skirmishes really. Dozens of people, hundreds of people, a few hundred people. We're not talking about a whole lot of people. There were skirmishes. Some were won by the Texans, some were won by the Mexican army. You're not going to get quizzed or tested, right? You're not going to get asked about any of those specific battles, probably. Maybe the Battle of Gonzales, but you know, in the years you're going to want to know for the test, but in the months rather, the year and the months, right? But for those smaller battles and skirmishes, you're not going to get asked about that. You might get asked about what is known as the Runaway Scrape. So starting in about November, that's when, after the Battle of Gonzales, Santa Anna, the ruler of Mexico, he wanted to make an example of Texas. Right? So he sent his army, about 6,000 people, up. And it was actually two different armies. All right? One was kind of here along the coast, and one was kind of this way, right, through Monterrey, and then here. It's kind of two armies, really, into Texas, okay? And they were burning towns and structures and things like that as they went, right? But they weren't the only group burning things as they went, right? Sam Houston, he was the leader of the Texan army. As he was retreating, right? Because he did a lot of retreating, okay? Retreating and training. And as he retreated, he was burning barns and farms and towns and things like that, because he didn't want the Mexican army to be able to use the supplies, right, the infrastructure there, okay? So both armies were burning stuff as they marched through Texas. And the Runaway Scrape, that refers to the citizens, and we're talking kind of in this area, right? We're kind of talking about here, all right? That area, okay? That's really where all the fighting was, okay? San Antonio, San Jacinto, over there, right? Goliad, Gonzales, all through here. we're talking about this area, and the citizens, just ordinary townspeople, they left, right? It was just, army's coming, they post a note on the door and they took off, okay? So it was a runaway, it was a scrape, a rush to get out of the way, okay? That's what that refers to. The runaway scrape, a rush to just get out of the way of these armies that were burning things as they went, okay? So that you might get asked about. You might need to know about that. You might get asked about, of course, it's the most well-known event, the Alamo. There had been a battle already in San Antonio. That was one of those smaller battles, smaller skirmishes between November and, I don't have November written up there, but November and February. But there was another, the most famous, that was November 23rd. Let me just make sure I got my dates right. November 23rd. No, sorry, what am I saying? February. My mistake. February 23 to March 6. Right? March 6. 13 days. It was a battle of the Alamo. It was a siege, right? About 2,500 Mexican soldiers versus a little under 200 Texan soldiers. Okay, so they were vastly outnumbered. You've seen the movies, perhaps. You've heard about this. Maybe you've been to San Antonio, been to the Alamo, so on and so forth. Okay, but it was a siege. Took 13 days. Right. All of the, I don't know that you're going to get asked about the leaders there, Fannin and Travis and Bowie and other folks who were there. Maybe you will. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. But what was the effect that the battle had? That probably, if you get asked, that's probably what you're going to get asked. It allowed two things to happen, this siege, right? It allowed two things to happen. One, Texas independence. So the folks from Texas, this provisional government in Texas, okay, the provisional government, it gave them time on March 2nd. It was March 2nd. I find my notes here. So March 2nd, they gave them time to declare independence. See, right in the middle, okay, that's March the 2nd. Declare independence from Mexico. This Texas Declaration of Independence. Okay, so that happened. And two, Santa Anna was tied up for 13 days, right? He's just waiting, okay, for 13 days. It gave Sam Houston more time, 13 more days, to retreat and to train his army, okay? It gave Houston trained his army. He retreated. And he trained his army. He trained his army and he retreated. Okay, he just kept running away, essentially, from this much larger Mexican force. Okay, much larger Mexican force. There was the two rallying cries. Okay, I mean, this was one of them. Remember the Alamo. The other was after the Alamo was Goliad. We had these two battles, Goliad and Refugio. It's an A, supposed to be. Sorry for my terrible handwriting there. Goliad and Refugio. There's a lot of here. About 350 Texan soldiers surrendered. The Mexican army. This was at the end of the battle. The Mexican army. They shot and killed all the prisoners. So that was a rallying cry. At the last battle, in April, okay, so we have all the way to April, okay, April 21st, that's San Jacinto. So we have from March 6th all the way to April 21st, a couple battles in between. So at April 21st, those rallying cries, remember the Alamo, remember Goliad, okay? But soldiers would yell, at least that's the story that is told, okay? The soldiers would yell, the Texan soldiers, at the Battle of San Jacinto. The Houston caught, it was the biggest battle that they won. They lost. I mean, they won this little skirmish in Gonzales, won a couple others, lost at the Alamo, and then they won at the end, okay? And that's how they won. They captured Santa Anna. They caught him sleeping, literally. They caught him napping. It was a tactical mistake, big tactical mistake by Santa Anna. And it was pretty quick, only lasted a matter of minutes. Okay, and that they captured the soldiers, they captured Santa Anna, and they forced him to sign the Treaty of Treaty of Velasco, and that was the treaty that gave Texas its independence from Mexico and made Texas an independent republic. Okay, so this is an overview, of course. It's what's in the TEAGs, right? But these are the big picture things, the big facts that you're going to want to remember for the Texas Revolution.